Slancha. Du hast. Du hast mich.
Okay, I can hear you.
They can hear me?
Yep.
Like, I'm live.
There you are.
I'm live.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right now.
Then I want to tell you one thing, America. No. I'm not, okay, lately I have been dropping F-bombs on the show, which is a bad habit, something I need to stop. Nevertheless, that's never something I would say to our fans. Even in a joking manner, I think that is a bridge too far. And welcome to the early bird special. We didn't get one last time because Johnny really had his SHI shit together. And I missed you. I really did. I'm giving him a hard time when I got here literally 3 minutes ago. It's been a busy day. Anybody who does online content, etc., knows that you hustle a lot.
Yeah, you do.
You hustle a great deal, and often for like, how long have we been auditioning to be professional YouTubers? It's been like 7 years. Like, it's all just one big audition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it can be so much that when you get one little small wrench, even in the whole deal, the whole thing just comes to a complete halt.
Yes.
Which it did for us, like, for months.
Yeah, because you had a health issue and then a baby.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know, right?
Lamest excuse to have a baby ever.
Holy crap.
What?
I gotta grab my charger.
Oh, yes. Johnny's computer's gonna die, and this right here is our gateway to the whole world. We literally can't do anything with it. I tried to pee yesterday, and this wasn't on. Nothing came out. Complete dry, not even dry fire. Trigger wouldn't even pull. You ever get that, Johnny?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
My computer isn't charged, so now I can't pee.
Oh, that's never happened to me.
I'll tell you one thing. This might be getting a little personal, maybe a little gross. But I've been having tummy troubles last couple of days. In fact, there's the smallest chance that I might have to just abandon stream and like go like
take care of something.
Use your restroom yet again.
Yeah, that's fine.
But like yesterday, I was running to the bathroom and
as you do.
Yes, very much like the T-1000 because that's where he was headed most of the time.
Absolutely.
And like I'm a pretty well coordinated guy, so part of the planning of my motions was to make sure that I was simultaneously turning the doorknob while I was pulling out my phone, because while I had to use the restroom, I was not going to do it without my phone.
Absolutely.
I rarely do.
No, I understand.
You ever stop?
That or a Switch.
Huh? Oh no, I'm not taking my Switch in the bathroom.
A Nintendo Switch.
No,
I do.
There's an aerosol effect. It'll jam up your parts, and I will defile my iPhone to no end. But my Nintendo Switch is sacred.
Right.
All right. So you were both here, and we're still in the midst of the early bird special.
We are.
Such as it is. It's only been like 3 minutes. I have some rambunctious energy today.
I see.
Waka waka.
Oh boy.
All right.
You notice. I had enough time to go into Photoshop. And I photoshopped us into the Avengers.
Hey! It's weird that we're in control of whether or not the other one can be seen.
Right.
Because Johnny here.
All
right. We should probably start the show. Okay. Binge watch our backlog, America. I'm Zach Nanimus.
Johnny Dim.
And you have entered once again into, what is this, 115? Number one?
You got it.
I got it.
You nailed it.
I'm not bad at guessing numbers of things. Episode 115 of the WarPod, the official podcast of the Warlocks Entertainment System, which includes such illustrious channels as Quite Contrary, Warlocks Entertainment,
The two important ones.
Johnny Dim,
Yeah.
and under construction, the Zach Nanimus channel.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I might as well say that for mine too.
I'm gonna light a fire under myself right now, and I'm gonna say that I'm gonna first off I'm gonna recreate. I don't know if you already subscribed to me. Stop, because No,
You gonna open another channel?
I have to.
Okay.
Because Google will not get back to me. Like, I'm definitely Zachnanimous. I have a huge amount of proof. I just no longer have that Yahoo account or whatever. There's something that's locking me out. I don't know
Of your email?
of my I don't know my password anymore, and I've guessed everything
Into YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, into that Gmail entirely.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm sending Gmails with my personal, and they just will not get back to me.
Weird.
Yeah, so I'm just, and I have something like 42 subscribers because I never worked on it that hard and never in a sustainable format.
Do you still have the original files for those videos?
No, but I can.
Yeah, we can download them. You should definitely put those back up. 'Cause
Although
a lot of them are good.
Yeah, well, okay. The first one is crap because when I do a listicle, I like to do this thing where the last one is boss battle, but and that's always number 5, and that brings us to the boss battle, number 5, Koopa versus Luigi, or whatever I did.
Yeah.
But the first one, I didn't explain that concept even a little bit, and so like randomly, it's like, and like I'm just like, boss battle. And then, and then number 5.
I don't think that concept's lost on a lot of people.
You don't think so?
No, I think you're good.
Maybe we'll watch it live on the show and see how people feel about
Not
it.
this episode.
Not this episode. We're busy this episode. But we do want to remind you that the Houston Nerd Casting Collective.
Nice.
Get
Stop
it out of
saying
mind.
that.
That the Warlocks Entertainment System is your one-stop shop for geek news in Houston and around the world. Tonight, can't say that anymore because it's very obviously noon.
It's barely afternoon.
Yes. Is it Disney afternoon?
I don't know what that means. That's a television
it's the
thing.
Disney afternoon.
It's like after school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it ABC? I can't remember. Or was it strictly Disney?
I did not watch a lot of it.
You didn't do one Saturday morning.
No, I've told you this before. When I got home from school, especially when I was in Austin,
I did drugs.
I did
like
drugs.
a good boy.
Right. From the word go. No, I came home. I think it was like Batman the Animated Series, Saved by the Bell, and
What year were you living in where Saved by the Bell was after school?
it was. I'm telling you, it was in Austin. In Austin, it was. And Peter Pan and the Pirates. Those were the 3 shows I watched after school.
Did Austin were they just guessing on what the kids might like?
I'm sure it's whatever they could afford. It was not. It didn't. That channel, that show, that channel for that was very low budget. You could tell. There's a lot of low budget.
Oh,
stuff
it was
going
like
on.
a local.
Yeah.
It was Austin. So, no.
I think it was the Fox channel.
Okay, because the PBS, the PBS station, I recently learned about it because of Monty Python, but it probably wasn't that. But they do get a little weird over there. It just wasn't hard. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
Whatever Steven Spielberg was putting on television at the time, you just showed it, and then if it had a DC superhero associated with it, Batman Beyond, Superman, Justice League, Static Shock, just show it.
Yep.
We'll eat it right up.
We're talking about in-game though. This I titled this episode the big in-game episode.
Well, why did you do that?
Because that's the big topic.
Okay, but here's the deal.
Uh-oh.
We promised the topic last time.
Oh shit! What did we say?
We said we were playing Comic Palooza.
No. We're gonna do that.
Okay.
It's not gonna be all Comic Palooza all time.
Okay.
But we gotta talk about in-game. We have enough room in this episode for both of those things.
Sometimes the think tank for what we'll do at Comic Palooza is weeks. It takes weeks.
It takes a while
to make these decisions.
We'll brainstorm some stuff.
We'll brain some storms.
We'll brain some storms. We'll bring them up.
All right, but you're right. We ought to talk about in-game because I think that pretty much everyone in the world wants to hear our opinion on it.
That's my understanding.
I would like to go ahead and start with ratings.
Okay.
Such as we might.
Okay. All right. Let's do
Johnny?
it. Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 100, can't give it a 0. Don't even try.
Not going to.
Which means that if you give it an 86, it's actually an 87 because it gets a bonus percent.
Spoiler, I'm not going to give it 100 either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you can't because that'd be a 101. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I give it? Okay. I actually had a lot of... I didn't tell you what my score was when we saw it, which was 2 days ago.
No, you never mentioned it.
I never mentioned it because I didn't know. I was so conflicted,
Yeah.
and I think I've settled on a score.
All right.
I'm giving it a 78.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna surprise you?
What?
Mine's higher.
You've changed yours? You gave me a score 2 days ago.
I lied to you.
To piss me off?
Honestly, for your own good, I told him it was a 6, and all I did was complain about
6 out of 10, not 6 out of 100.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
You need to tell them which one it is because you just told me to do it out of 100, and then you gave it a 6.
All right, I gave it a 60%, and I just ginned up all the things that I disliked about it.
You really focused on the things you didn't like. But go ahead.
No, the Captain Marvel thing surprised you, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Big time.
Yeah, I guess like this is the biggest movie ever.
Uh,
So
yeah,
like,
in a way.
Should we just go ahead and say spoilers and just talk about the whole thing? It's the opening weekend of the biggest movie ever.
Most of the things we're gonna have to say are gonna be spoilers anyway.
So
I don't think we should. Normally we do like a timer and we'll talk about spoilers. That's not gonna be enough time.
Okay.
Because we're gonna get into it. So
What
this is gonna be spoilers.
Here's what we will do.
Yeah.
All right, because I know you have the power to do this.
Okay.
All right. When we stop talking about Avengers, the background will change.
Fair.
You know what? That's what we'll do. All right. So, so from this point on, we're gonna talk about Avengers, and we're gonna spoil it. Feel like we've given you a lot of forewarning.
Give me your rating.
80%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I was gonna do actually was gonna show Metacritics and Rotten Tomatoes just so people could see. But if I change the background, people are gonna think we're done talking about Avengers.
So we'll just tell them. I promise.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, of course, you can fact check us if you're watching us live. Anytime you're watching us, you can just say, "Oh, that's wrong."
That's absolutely fair. I didn't even think about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, doesn't this get released as an audio podcast anyway?
It does.
Oh, you know what? That's unfair to our audio fans. So
they're just gonna have to either listen to it or not listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Metacritic had it as 77.
I'm gonna guess. Hey, audio guys, probably about 30 minutes.
Yeah, roughly.
All right.
Because we got other stuff to talk about. And Rotten Tomatoes
is irrelevant.
I understand your view on Rotten Tomatoes. The critic score was 96% and the audience score was 92%.
That is correct. Disney had enough money to get the score they wanted from Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I even think there's a huge slant on this one. I cannot believe these numbers.
This is why you should stop checking Rotten. You should check Rotten Tomatoes only for a check.
I think Metacritic was a lot more fair on this one.
Yeah, it's correct.
Yeah.
It's like an average. Well, it's not an average over. Wait, what'd you give it? 78.
Yes.
Okay, it's not an average over 2 scores, but it is in the same ballpark.
Yes, I was very close.
Yeah.
Okay, so who wants to get into it first? Who has the biggest axe to grind between the two of us?
You give the lower number.
You're right. Technically, I do.
Yeah.
I
have a feeling that everything that I dislike about it, you're going to wonder why I dislike it. Because
that's the way it was when we were talking about it 2 days ago.
It's real simple logical stuff. That
Here's the thing. We didn't even get into the worst of it. And it was bothering me when we sat down at dinner the other day. I was like, even from when it happened in the movie until that point.
From word go.
Yes, it was bothering me, but I didn't bring it up with you because you kept bringing up stuff and I kept reacting to that, and I completely forgot about my problems. So
you know what? That's the power of my hate. You completely forget about your problems.
Because I find yours illogical. Like those stuff I can.
It's the logic of the movie.
I know, I understand. And here's one I was surprised you didn't say. This is the one, and there's been articles written already. I've read 2 of them about.
I can feel that I'm gonna not care.
Captain America. Why he did by the rules that they established in the movie, he should not have been an old man at the end of the movie. He should not have been there at all. Because they said, if you go back and change something, you create a new timeline. You cannot affect the future.
Oh, yeah.
And so he should not have been there, period. And I read an article, I think it was on, you know what, I don't want to miscredit. I'm gonna bring it up here. Actually, I can, yeah.
So,
stop it.
Based upon my knowledge of just like throwaway online articles and stuff like that, I can already tell you don't care. It was
It was GameSpot. It was on GameSpot.
Oh yeah.
It said Avengers Endgame. Captain America's ending ruins the movie. And
false.
and what this person in the article was saying though was that even if that the technical timeline stuff doesn't just doesn't bother you, it doesn't make a lot of sense for the character of Captain America to do what he did. So what he did, he chose to go back after giving the stones back to where they belong in the timeline. He goes back and he stays.
Yep.
With Carter.
Peggy
Carter. I can't remember her first name. And he stays with her. Now, what that would mean that there is a very capable Captain America who sits and lives a boring life and doesn't do anything. And he knows, because they figure it was probably in the late 40s that he decided to go back. It was after the events of the Agent Carter TV series and whatever started next. I can't remember what that was. But that's probably where he would have been.
The very next thing after Agent Carter is...
There's a few years in there where he would have had a gap where he could have gone in.
Peter Quill gets abducted in 1985, I think.
Yeah. So either way. So he goes in there. And that would mean that even though he knew that his best friend Bucky was being tortured in Russia, he knew all this bad stuff was going to happen. He knew that S.H.I.E.L.D. was being taken over by Hydra. He knew all these things were happening that he could have prevented, and he decided to live completely oblivious to that stuff.
You know what?
And I don't think Captain America would have done that.
You know what? Valid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's valid.
Till the end of the line, yeah, bullshit. Like, really?
where he did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been handled better, and I could sit here and try to explain the logic of his actions, or that it wouldn't have affected their personal timeline, him doing that, because, hey, you know what? How about he just held on to the time stone?
Maybe.
Yeah, he just kept it and lived out a lifetime with Carter, and then came back.
Right, and that you could possibly be okay with, except then how? Because then there've been like a lot of different things going on. Because there's other repercussions because of that.
Think about it this way. Okay, what they said was that you can't go into the past to affect the future. So he couldn't go back and be active. And so that's all fine. Maybe he did, because Carter was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent too.
Right.
They could have gone on all of these adventures in their timeline. They could have taken down, saved Bucky, take down Hydra, and then Cap comes back and he's like, I was gone because I got old.
Right, but then that messes with the logic, because then that would have changed everything in the existing timeline that everybody was already in.
No, what I'm saying is that he came back.
He created another timeline, fixed everything in that timeline, then jumped back to the timeline
to tell us that everything worked out.
And that's maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because it's just really hairy.
No, like that should be what they had explained.
Yeah, they should have explained something.
Yeah,
they explained nothing.
As a narrative in the moment. What's up?
I think we're still streaming.
Well, check YouTube.
Yeah. Uh oh. Guys, what'd you do?
What'd you do? Check Twitch, because sometimes YouTube's just like that.
Yeah.
This is why it was nice to edit.
Well, we are recording at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured out how to do that. Is it just this? That's why I wonder if it's just this computer.
Well, I mean.
Yeah, this is basically saying the internet is out.
Yeah. Well, of course, I'm never on. Go check your.
Yeah, I need to check that one.
Yeah, check. Okay.
Just in case they're here.
So yeah, and so I'll continue talking to that point. The movie as a the movie as a spectacle, the movie as a magic trick, which all movies technically are. In the moment, I couldn't care less. Like it was just sweet and nice. Is there a very easy way to explain it? My way, yes. Which is why we should have done the movie instead.
Well,
because we would have had this conversation.
Me and friend Jonesy, we got into it. Like I sent him this because he wanted to talk about it, but we have a little Warlocks chat within a few of us, and not everyone had seen it yet. So he's like, "Oh, I want to talk to you about it." So we talked off, just me and him, and we got into it with the time travel and everything. It doesn't bother him a whole lot, but I was like, the problem is, and this is a real serious issue for some people, for a lot of people, is once you do that, once you break your own rules or you don't explain something enough, you break that trust between people making the movie and the audience.
You break that trust between the people making the movie and just hardcore, straight up nerds.
Well, I mean, you can make that argument in other movies too that aren't so nerdy. Like if you
No, I get what you're saying, but
yeah.
like this was a very, very touching send off and absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
It would have been better if the two reveals had been reversed, where we have the send off for Robert Downey Jr. last.
Yeah.
That would have been much more fulfilling because it should start and end with Iron Man.
I agree with that, but I also want to say about how I would have done the Captain America thing better. It would have been super simple. And all you had to do. Can I finish?
Yeah, but it just
You saw something too?
huh? Yeah, I just
Let's take a second. Keep it in your head. All you do is you have Captain America have his talk with his friends. It's just this computer. Oh, you're just playing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm playing the T-Rex game.
Is you have Captain America have his heartfelt goodbyes, and you have him say all his goodbyes to his friend, and tell them ahead of time that he is not coming back. He's going to go and create his own timeline and do that, which would be fine, I think. If he just went and lived with Peggy Carter and they had their own timeline that went off by itself,
Man.
and he would have passed the mantle on to Falcon, and he would have been able to say goodbye to everybody and all that stuff, and it would have been heartfelt too. It would have been fine.
2 lines. Could have fixed it in 2 lines.
Go ahead.
He's sitting there. He's sitting there as an old man. He's talking to Sam, and he's and say okay, 3 lines. Because we need one from Sam, and he's like, "How did you get here?" And he pulls out an empty vial of pin particles, and he's like, "1 trip back, right?"
Yeah, that would have been cool.
And then when he's then
although that wouldn't have been fair because that wouldn't have been true.
Huh?
They had endless pin particles at that point.
Yeah, but still,
yeah.
It's something that Cap may have said to be concise.
Plus, he's not all that smart.
No. And then he pulls out the shield and gives it to Sam, and he's like, speaking about that, why don't you try it on? In the world that I've created, we don't even need a Captain America.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
3 lines.
That would have been nice.
3 lines.
That would have been nice.
Approximately 7 seconds. Eat it, Marvel.
Okay, I got notes. So like I said, me and Jonesy got into it. See, we were
okay.
And anyway, someone else published another article that says why Avengers Endgame final scene isn't what it seems, and this is the guy that explains how it could have worked out where he did go back in time and didn't affect anything, but he admits that what I said earlier about how Captain America could not have just sat idly by and not done something.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that breaks this guy's logic, but he explains it pretty well. And this one was done by the Hollywood Reporter. What's his name? I want to give credit. Laura Sircool. That's a cool. Suricool. I might be mispronouncing that.
Oh, they can make the line even better. In the world that Peggy and I have created, we don't even need Captain America. But it looks like this one still could.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, we fixed it. But let's see. I had notes for everything else.
Now, one thing about that scene, if we want to do a little tete-a-tete here, is my knee-jerk reaction was that considering how close James Barnes and Captain America were, that it would make more sense for him to pass it down to his closer friend, Bucky.
We had discussed that maybe he was ready to retire.
The other thing is like Captain America, out like sheer luck. He sits from a place. He sits on a seat of true moral indemnity, where Bucky doesn't anymore. Right. Bucky has been manipulated, and he has a sordid past.
Right.
And so, like, just based upon the trauma of his life, like, it may just be time to, like, if there's going to be an arm stance, maybe Bucky's done his part.
Yeah.
Maybe he can stop.
Right.
So yeah, the retirement thing works, but also it's nice to start. It would be nice to start fresh with a Captain America that you don't have to bring up any of their war crimes, which Sam doesn't have any.
Right. So here's a question.
Oh wait, technically he was America's second most wanted.
Yeah.
For about a year in the Civil War.
So I got a question. I wanted to know if you remember something because I can't remember.
But he was a patriot.
He is a patriot.
All right.
Gamora.
Yes, Gamora.
The new Gamora.
Thank you, Gamora.
The one that comes back and shoots her sister.
Nope.
Because
Nebula.
Yeah. Oh, no, Gamora shoots her.
Nebula shoots Nebula.
Are you sure? I think you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gamora's back, right? But it's a Gamora from the past.
Yeah.
Does she stay? I can't remember if she's on the ship with Star-Lord and all them at the end with Thor.
I don't think she is. That's the thing, is that like keeping track of who got dusted was already a chore.
Because
now we got to figure out.
I think she's gone. And that bothers me a little bit. Not that she's gone, because that makes sense that they would make the timeline clean and everyone who came through the portal with Thanos is gone. That makes sense.
I mean, it doesn't actually matter.
It doesn't ultimately matter.
Yeah.
But what bothers me is that we didn't spend enough time with, for one, the reason that Thanos wasn't killed initially was because Star-Lord couldn't take that he had killed Gamora, right? That's the reason that didn't happen. And I felt like that needed to be better tied up. I felt like they should have done something more with Gamora and Star-Lord.
Opposite of a problem.
Why?
Guardians of the Galaxy 3, search for Gamora. Like, literally, why not?
Well, I'm really confused then. Why is see, this stuff bothers me a little bit. I just feel like we didn't spend enough time on that. Like, I feel like this whole thing with their love affair, not their love affair, but their relationship they put a pin on it by a nut shot.
Which is accurate.
It's accurate.
Yes. Like, okay. The thing is that as a romance, theirs is not epic, and it's pretty toxic.
Yeah.
It's Star-Lord, perpetually proving himself to be a decent person.
Yeah.
And wanting only to make Gamora happy. And her just throwing a lot of mistrust on him and physically abusing him. That's been that way the entire time. Which, like, I get why he's into it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, you know,
here's
that shot, it works for that.
Here's ultimately what I'm getting down to, because there's things that bothered me I felt were missing from the movie. And if they can bring people back from the Soul Stone, from sacrificing them from the Soul Stone, which
they can't.
I would imagine they have some way to get them back, because they still have, unless they're going to go back in time, because Black Widow has a movie coming out. And Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has another movie. They have,
Man,
that's
I honestly think, okay, has Scarlett Johansson been confirmed for Black
I don't know.
Widow?
I just know that it's still on the docket.
Yeah,
like
because
they're still planning on that movie.
For Phase 2, I know that a lot of the higher paid actors are going away.
Right.
So, like, I'm imagining that Black Widow is a moniker that's passed down to new graduates from the Red Room.
Maybe. So, anyway, my point is, I just feel like there's a lot of unanswered questions, and there's a lot of stuff that just wasn't buttoned up nicely. And so what I'm getting at is I believe that the Infinity War should have been 3 movies. I really feel like, because it went
I think they should have pared down the number of concepts they were going to
address.
This and just take care of it in Phase 2.
This movie was going at a breakneck speed. Like we spend hardly any time on the time travel stuff.
Yeah, that's because this movie it's kind of like this movie is a trade paperback. It's not a graphic novel.
Right.
It's a few stories.
Yes.
All thrown together. So you've got time travel buddy cops. You have Thanos, the final conflict. What else you got in there?
You're establishing the beginning, which you're.
You know what? We might just be talking about 3 acts.
We are.
Yeah.
But
each one's a movie.
But they're so big
that
I feel like there should have been more going on. There should have been more time spent on certain things.
Actually, yeah, Infinity War itself could have been a trilogy. Honestly, because some of these concepts are so dissonant from one another, and the meat and potatoes of how this movie works, one of my gripes is that the teams they chose for time travel buddy cop are just way too convenient, and they didn't seem to put a lot of thought into it, and pure happenstance made it work.
Right.
So we've got the Green Arrow,
Ronan.
and Scarlet Spectre.
Black Widow.
Yeah. So they go to get the soul stone on Morag Tong,
Yep.
which is
Morag or whatever it's called.
no, Morag was the
The other
first
one.
planet.
Yeah.
No, Morag Tong is a guild in Elder Scrolls 3.
Okay, right. Okay.
But no, okay. So worst pairing possible to
Especially for that terrain. Like that's unexplored area.
Yeah.
No one's been there.
Rocket
before.
should have been there.
Yeah.
Rocket is very comfortable planet hopping.
True.
So it probably should have been Rocket and Nebula. So, well, but then again, Nebula went to a different planet anyway. But they sent Rhodey. I don't know who's the Thor. Well, Thor had to go to.
Yeah,
Asgard.
Thor went with Rocket.
Okay. No. But what I'm saying is that they get to the Soul Stone, right, and they have to make the sacrifice, but it keeps you scratching your head. Well, why they pick these two?
It's because they want them to fight over it. That's what it came down to.
No, not why the director picked these
Sure.
two. Why the movie picked these two?
Right.
Where did they sit down and they're like, oh, obviously you two have to go for the Soul Stone?
Right. Does anyone know that
No.
a sacrifice happened
Only Quill.
and he wasn't there?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
And so they fight over this.
Well, hold on.
Well, what?
Tony was there. When they find out that Thanos sacrificed Gamora, that's when they were fighting Thanos.
Okay. Let's assume that Tony deduced this.
Yeah.
They need to have a conversation
Yes,
beforehand.
they do. I don't know if he just wasn't thinking or didn't put the two together.
Actually, okay. You know what? It should have got dark. It should have been a conversation, and like it makes them perfect if there was a conversation ahead of time, where.
That would have been rough.
Huh?
That would have been really rough.
Yeah.
If they knew that someone had to be sacrificed.
No. If only Tony knew.
Yeah.
And because Black Widow's
And
a
he
master
picks.
spy, she's like, "You're not telling me something."
Yeah.
And he's just like,
And he tells her.
"You might not come back in one piece,
Right.
but remember, we got to do this no matter the cost."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
Yeah.
That would have been a little bit better if they had something.
2
else.
minutes. 2 minutes and 7 seconds. So far.
3 hours and we're talking about 3 hours and 4.5 minutes that we've added to the movie so far. Not that we've added. That's the total time.
Yeah.
Because it's a 3 hour and 2 minute movie.
And we're just snapping them up. 2 minutes, 7 seconds so far.
Oh man. Let me see if there's anything really good else that I put on here.
Yeah, and so like I didn't like that it was like pure happenstance that they found themselves in this struggle. And I also didn't like that they didn't take the opportunity to explain the cults surrounding the stones.
Sure. That would have been cool.
Which the thing is that if you're not feeling particularly creative that day, the comics got them built in.
Boom.
You got characters. First off, Grandmaster was used in Thor Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Then okay, so you've got the runner who was the bearer of the space stone, the gardener who was the time stone, the in betweener who was the soul stone, the collector. What does it sound like the collector is? Not the power stone.
Space?
No, that's the runner.
It's the runner.
Who have I said so far? The Grandmaster, the collector. Hey,
Is this something I can Google?
Huh?
Is this something I can Google?
Yeah, I think they may be called the Marvel Elders. And go ahead and put in
Galactus, the
Oh, there they
Gardener,
are.
Collector, yeah.
the champion, the collector, the gardener, the grandmaster, the runner, and they're not mentioning the in-betweener.
There you go.
Yeah, so the thing is that these guys are so prolific in their own spheres that there's no reason there can't be monuments to them.
Right.
You know? And so, like, you could say a Red Skull, for whatever reason he's there. Why him? No clue. It should have,
They just wanted a familiar face, I think.
You know what? It should have been the gardener.
Okay.
It should have definitely, no, not the gardener. Oh, okay, the gardener is like a bigger part in the comics.
Yeah.
But it should have been the runner, because the runner, he literally, you know, those guys who are addicted to jogging. That's him on a. He's one of those guys on a cosmic level. He just loves running around the universe. Like no joke, that's his deal.
Okay, we're getting pretty deep into
and so like he could have been like because he can be in all places at once. He'd be like, I stand on the steps of all the shrines to the elders. Many of them, some of you have met, some of them you have met, some of them have passed on. It like opens a portal to the champions, and it's a planet that's like cracked in half because that's how Galactus took care of him. That's how Thanos took care of him.
Thanos.
Yeah, like easy. Okay, and how long did that take? I think I added 3.
Yeah, that's another
5 minutes, 7 seconds.
Yeah, okay. We should keep it running total. So I also had an issue. It's not really an issue with this movie.
I'm sorry. If you didn't watch any of the previous ones where I bitched about this, it's basically that there are these cults surrounding the stones. Like the Red Skull just is at this temple. Why does it exist, and why is there a cost that is completely unique to the Soul Stone?
There you go.
Yeah.
So this movie just reinforced the idea already that I had about Captain Marvel being one of the most boring Marvel characters ever. I'm not going to put that much on this movie. I just think that she's boring, and they used her in a boring way.
Okay.
And by the way, I was also reading something else about the how the hell did she fly Tony Stark and Nebula were on that ship? How did she know where they? Okay, actually, this one was I'm sorry.
This is the beginning. I missed.
Yeah.
The
I'm
first
sorry.
10 minutes.
I went into this article thinking it was going to say that the movie messed up, but it didn't necessarily. What it did was it filled in the gap, and it said this is how Captain Marvel would have known where Tony was, because they don't ever tell you. They never tell you.
Signal.
Maybe.
I mean, he sent out a broadband distress signal.
Yeah.
Like just to like say goodbye.
Yeah. That's what they're assuming, is that either that or
wait, is that not clear in the? Is that what he does? He doesn't do that in the movie.
He's recording. They don't necessarily say that he's broadcasting. They don't explicitly say, if I remember correctly. This is easily explained. Also, they could have said that Rocket may have known roughly where he was because they knew that where Thanos roughly was. Where they know he's from Titan.
Hard pass. That's not how space works.
You're right. You're right.
Hard pass.
You're right. But it doesn't matter. That was just one little thing. And what I was having trouble with, because I thought they were further out, and Tony says he only has like a day left.
You can get lost between here and the moon if you've got no way to communicate.
Absolutely, I understand.
Actually, okay, maybe not the moon. The moon's pretty big.
Yeah.
Here in Mars, you can definitely get lost.
How fast does Captain Marvel fly?
Not explained.
Never explained. Is it never explained?
No.
Okay.
In the comic books, it doesn't. Okay. The thing is that.
I was wondering if she could actually get them back in time before their oxygen ran out.
The thing is that Marvel actually explains not time travel. They explain time travel okay. They explain space travel really well. Mm-hmm. Nobody flies anywhere particularly quickly.
Right.
Most people at sublight speeds. Mm-hmm. What they do is use established jump gates.
Right.
So, and as an experienced space traveler, Captain Marvel would know where these things are.
There you go. Okay, next thing.
Because the thing is that if you're saying that Captain Marvel just straight up flew, then she wouldn't have been able to still wouldn't have been able to take out Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, but she would have the power to punch the planet into atoms, because she'd be flying faster than the speed of light. And that makes and Carl, that kills people. No, okay. On the subject of Captain Marvel, so this is something that I've been complaining about for a while.
Go ahead.
And it's that even starting with the first Iron Man movie, what they did was they made every character Spider-Man.
Right.
Just kind of a snarky guy who likes to crack jokes while he's fighting, stuff like that. Although the first Iron Man movie has a lot of pathos in it. And a lot of stuff that's unique to Tony, but that's something that it's a through line through them, a general Spider-Man-iness, with pop culture references, jokes during the fights, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I noticed about Captain Marvel, I like her new hair.
Yeah.
Two.
Sorry, it reminds me of a joke someone did on Twitter when all the women line up.
Oh yeah.
They took the clip from Billy on the Street, and he goes, "Come on, lesbians, let's go."
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
So so it's the moment where like Peter is really on the ropes, and suddenly all the enemies get blasted off of him, and a fresh faced Captain Marvel is there to help him out in his
Right.
time of need, and she's like, "Hey, need a lift?" And
Right.
she's got the little head tilt that she likes to do. And what I noticed was that she was different from all the other characters.
She
And
looks different. Is that
no,
what you said?
no, she acts
She
different.
acts different. Yes, she does.
Yeah, she acts different from all the other characters. It was kind of refreshing. It was like, hey, it's not Spider-Man
It's
again.
not Spider-Man.
Like, it actually worked for me.
Wow. Okay.
Now, I forgot about Captain Marvel so quickly that when she comes down simply as a ray of light
Yeah.
through Thanos' ship, I was like, dude, are we finally getting Adam Warlock?
Oh man.
I completely lost the ability to realize that's what Captain Marvel's here to do.
She's replaced. Yeah, she replaced him. She replaced him.
Oh, not even close.
Right, but as if we're talking about, you're right.
In fighting
His role is different.
in fighting Thanos, his role is Silver Surfer, go
Right.
and miss. That's all he did.
But I'm saying, yeah. But anyway, regardless,
Mhm.
regardless, I still find her terribly boring. She doesn't have much of a personality.
Okay.
That's my issue
Yeah.
with her.
I just happen to like her in this movie.
Right. Also, I just feel like it's a little bit of a cop out with the way they used her. It's like she's there until they just don't want her there, and then it's like, oh, I've got other planets to save.
Mhm.
You know, I just think it's a little bit of a cop out.
The other thing, we should probably talk about this. This is your biggest point of contention. This show might be long.
Might be.
Oh, you know what the thing about putting this out on iTunes is? You'll literally be able to add notes or maybe even audio in the beginning that tells the listener how long we've been doing this, how long spoilers are, when to skip to. The biggest point of contention between us has got to be Thanos' impact on society.
Oh.
Because throughout the movie there are these panning shots of New York, riddled with abandoned cars, vacant buildings, and garbage everywhere. Garbage everywhere, accurate. Here's the thing, is that everyone else walking through this malaise of, oh my God, society, 'tis gone. No, don't get me wrong. These people went through some stuff. The thing at the beginning of the movie with Captain America leading a support group for these people totally makes sense. But in that scene, in that very scene, you have people talking it's this guy and he went on a date and they were at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Very clear indication that society still exists.
Sure.
Okay, halfway through the movie, we meet Dad Bod Thor,
Mm-hmm.
and he's playing Fortnite,
Sure.
and bitching about the cable.
Yeah.
Society still very much intact. We would have half the number of garbage men to pick up the garbage, half the number of tow trucks to move the abandoned things, half the number of recycling plants.
In cities built for twice as many people. So there would be a lot of abandoned buildings. There would be a lot of stuff that would not be functioning. Just take New Orleans, for example. They got hit by a massive hurricane. And it took them a long time to get everything back moving again. And actually for all those buildings to be either destroyed or rebuilt.
Okay, here's the thing, is that you're talking about damaged infrastructure. In this case, we're talking about a glut of infrastructure. Way too much.
Right. And if stuff is abandoned, it's not kept up well.
It's not abandoned. There's just half the number of people using it.
Right, which would mean a lot of stuff would be abandoned because we would have half the number of people on the earth. Plus,
Give me an
we
example.
keep saying half,
Uh-huh.
not half, because suicides would skyrocket.
Suicides would still happen, and they
At a greater rate.
I think they would have a mild spike. But in times of strife like this,
Right.
We have a tendency to band together. Humans like to survive.
Sure.
Okay, the psychological impact would not be negligible. But it's not like, okay, so Thanos really took out 3/4 of the world because then half the population is obviously going to kill themselves. No.
No, I didn't say that much, but there's gonna be. I think there's gonna be a really big spike. And when people would band together, there'd probably be even entire towns that would be abandoned because they want to get close to other people. So I think that we would have, it would just be a lot different.
You know the last town that would happen in? New York.
Sure, you might get. In fact, you might even get more people in New York.
Yeah.
But I still think that, especially since most people don't even know why it happened, I think the psychology behind that would really mess people up.
Ant-Man learned it from a kid. Oh wait, no. He learned it from his daughter.
I think she said everyone vanished. She didn't say why.
He came to the Avengers with the word Thanos on his lips.
Did he?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody. Oh wait.
I don't remember that. I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Like.
I thought they explained it to him.
He was like, when Thanos happened. Like he says that. He's the first one to say it in that scene.
Okay, I guess that would be true.
Yeah, I think everybody knows.
Because the Avengers would tell the world governments what happened.
Yeah, because you have to.
Right.
Because if you don't, then everybody's wondering, so when's it going to happen again?
Right.
You have to say,
Exactly.
it's a one-time thing.
Right.
We're pretty sure. We've got guys working on it to kill the guy who did it.
I still think it's a bigger deal than you're thinking it's going to be.
Here's what we're ignoring, Johnny.
And to be honest,
Johnny, wait.
does it matter?
It does. It really does. You want to know why?
Why?
Because thanks to, and we don't talk about them too much anymore, but always an open invitation, even though you probably don't even know who we are. Matt Pat over at Film Theory, Harry did the math. We have a working model for this, and it's the Black Plague. It took out a third of Europe, and guess what happened? Everything Thanos promised. It's true.
Within no, hold on. Now hold on.
It's true.
But you're saying everything recovered within 5 years?
No, I'm saying that I'm saying that the prices of things in general went up, went down, and wages went up.
Sure, but
there was a recovery. There was a recovery period, and it was significant.
Okay,
We're talking 13% inside of economic models, which is big.
sure. How long did it take?
I'm not sure.
See, I think there's a lot of unknowns. Sure, that's a decent
But
model.
I would think in our society, however quickly it happened in their society, in ours it would happen faster, because we didn't lose one shred of modern convenience. One shred. We still have Fortnite, and that's the gold standard.
Well, either way, what I was going to say was they may have just taken an artistic license to do that because they wanted to show how. Because I think that the Avengers themselves would have been in a very dark place. Because
they definitely were.
Yeah,
especially Thor. I love what they did with Thor.
I think so. I think they did some artistic license to show, like especially Captain America in that support group, right? And because he's not having the greatest of time either, and he's there helping support them. I think he's also there for himself.
And you have support groups for things that while very very important to us in the real world, compared to something like losing half the population is relatively small. You have survivors of casualties of foreign wars, people who weren't even combatants who lose people who have support groups and things like that.
Sure.
Yeah, that would definitely happen.
Right, but
the idea that
the artistic
New York's
license,
a ghost town.
The artistic license. The artistic license is what I'm talking about. Is where they like showed the overshot of New York and it was just really dark. I think that was where the artistic license may have been. Now I'm just theorizing. I don't know exactly what their logic was.
I honestly think the city would be cleaner. I honestly believe the city would be cleaner.
I don't. It would take a long. It'd take probably up to 6 months to a year just to find all the dead animals that people left in their apartments. They wouldn't be dead right away, but humans disappear. A lot of animals are locked up and will die of starvation.
That's true, but you're gonna have venture capitalists lining up round the block to get government contracts to clear out those cars so they can scrap them.
Sure.
Round the block, those cars would be gone. Thanos snapped.
I don't know. I think the economics of it are a little more complicated when you take away half the population of the entire world.
Let's talk about the economics of suddenly doubling the population of the entire world.
Yes.
That may have been
actually may have caused
irresponsible.
That may have caused more problems. Actually.
Way more.
We've adjusted for half, and then you double it like instantly.
So the thing is that you're right about dark buildings. I'll tell you why you're right about that. Because when you have fewer people, They're just buildings you don't have to give power to.
Sure.
So let's talk about.
I think crime and drug use would also go up. By the way.
I mean, they say this relatively the same throughout society.
A lot of people cope that way. They abuse drugs and alcohol. So, and there's a lot more alcohol to drink because there's half the population's gone.
That's true. So let's talk about Thanos. Let's talk about Tony snapping everybody back.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So you're going to have abandoned hospitals that are out of use because there's not enough people to use them.
Sure.
Some of them will have been demolished.
Yep. All these people that come back are definitely not cured of any diseases. So they're all
Some of them won't have been demolished, but still abandoned. Some of them will still be in use.
You know what's really interesting?
Hold on.
Okay.
A huge number of the people Tony snapped back into place were giving birth.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
A huge number of them.
There's also people that were within.
So
they were within 60 minutes of dying anyway.
Yeah.
So they get snapped back only to just die immediately.
Imagine you're like we've got an abandoned hospital. Somebody, some philanthropist, although you can do nice things and still make money. Demolished a hospital, and then Tony snaps everyone in that hospital back.
Well, here's what I had. Okay, because obviously we're talking about superhero magic, right? So I had a thought.
Yeah.
Because I thought the only way this would work, both the snap to make everyone go away and the snap to bring everybody back, the only way this works in my head is that as soon as he did the snap, both of them, they then time stopped, and they come out, and they negotiate the terms of the snap with some being.
Well, that would be the living tribunal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is, but then you write up a contract and you say, okay, what are the details of this? Like, just so we know, like, how if like you
actually
like people are coming back in childbirth. Okay, well, do they come back just where they were? Do they come back?
Okay, this scene doesn't even have to be silly.
Yeah.
Okay, the thing.
And that could take. And then you know what? That contract, that negotiation, could take years. But as soon as they finish the contract, the snap, you go right back to the snap, and then it just happens.
Oh my! No, this could have been the best scene in the movie. Getting greedy. We're gonna need 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. We're still under 3.5 hours.
Yeah. So I am Iron Man. Boom. Whiteout.
Right.
All right. So Tony's got his gauntlet, and the only one of the gems that's glowing is the Eye of Agamotto.
Sure. Time stone.
And you know what? So I think he's like in a white abyss, because like you could have everybody stop, but I think it'd be better to like leave that as a bit of a hanging chad, even though I don't think that's what that means. So he's walking through a great white abyss, and he's like, Friday, we still online? And he's like, sir, all temporal activities have ceased. However, I am still functioning. Excellent. Okay, we're going to need an analysis of everything this glove can do. Okay, thank you, Mind Stone.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, and so he's like, Friday, is it conceivable that if I were to access the full power of the Mind Stone, I could come up with the best plan possible? And he's like, it is conceivable, sir. Let's do it. Boom.
Yeah.
And so like his eyes go, and so like data is like going through his eyes, and he's becoming the most intelligent being in the world. And he's like,
then he could survive the snap.
huh? The thing is like that could overwhelm him, and he'd be like, ah, and like lose it for a second, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna need a second opinion. Glove, if that is your name. Access highest authority in the universe, please. And then boom, living tribunal is right there.
Yeah.
And then they go through. He's like, I want to bring everybody back, and he's like, it is possible, but none of that weirdo genie stuff where you come up with the worst interpretation possible of bringing back people. Everyone's going to come back safe and healthy, and you know what? Nobody remembers what dubstep is. And he's like, it can be done, Stark, but at a price. And he's like, I know.
There you go.
Yeah, and then he knows he's gonna die, and then
Yeah.
he faces it. One last snap.
That would have been.
Could have been the best scene in the movie.
That would have been fitting.
Yeah. 15 minutes, 7 seconds. That's all you needed, Marvel.
Yeah. I think that's the total of what we've added.
Yeah.
Yep. That is. Yeah. Oh man, we can do it better.
And the nerds would have loved Living Tribunal.
They absolutely would have loved it.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Anything else? Oh, by the way,
You want to talk about the Iron Maiden?
news. Not yet. Since when did anyone survive the destruction of the Asgardian ship? When Thanos fought Thor, Loki, and Hulk in the beginning of the Infinity War.
Compare yourself to Thor Bjornsson, the strongest man in the world. On a cosmic scale, your physical abilities and prowess are pretty similar. Is he much stronger than you from your perspective? Yes. But there's not that great a difference between your total potential output. That is the difference between Thor and any other Asgardian. They might have just jumped. We see him jumping through space all the time.
The ship was absolutely destroyed.
Yes.
Blown up.
Yeah.
He was floating about the debris
Uh-huh.
when the Guardians of the Galaxy found him,
Yeah.
and he splatted on the windshield. Okay.
Yeah.
If there was anybody left still alive in that wreckage, he
Uh-huh.
would have taken care of them then.
Hey, maybe they called them the Reavers. You know what? Doesn't need explaining? Yes, I'll take another 2 minutes.
That would have helped.
Yeah.
They could have done it when they were at.
No. One line. I got it. And to think, we owe all this to Quill. Without him and his Reavers, none of them would be here.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
That's all you needed.
3 seconds.
Because I made sure. I watched that movie very carefully when I rewatched Infinity War, the first one.
We're just gonna call this Infinity War Punch Up.
Yeah, absolutely. I try to write the things I like about it because we've been just railing on this movie.
Yeah. The thing is that don't forget 80%.
Yeah,
Like
no, it's mostly good. It's just the things that bothered me particularly bothered me a lot.
Also, if it's good, what's the point of talking about it?
Right?
Like,
That's not as fun.
Oh, I enjoyed the punching.
I'll go through my quick list. This took me just a couple minutes. I really like that Ant-Man's role was bigger in this movie because Paul Rudd is an American treasure.
Okay.
Okay.
Although the time travel thing in general was hokey.
Which is fine. Whatever. Thor's story arc and the beer belly was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that they actually stuck to that.
Yeah.
The whole movie, he had it.
The observation that I made
Yeah.
is that okay, they stuck to it. They just put him in maternity clothes for the rest of the movie, so that they could hide it.
I thought there was fantastic imagery in this movie. The one that sticks out in my mind is at near the end. They still have the battle to fight. This is before all the other heroes get snapped back, right? Captain America is standing there with a broken shield alone, and they do this really blown up look where you see him
Called extreme wide angle.
Yeah, extreme wide angle. He is standing there alone. It's kind of almost like a black silhouette against what you see the oncoming onslaught.
Extreme wide shot.
Yeah, all of Thanos' army. He's the only one standing right there, and that was just an extremely cool shot.
Yeah.
And that's when you finally get all the heroes back.
Okay, I'll talk about something that I really liked. Captain America the Mighty.
With the hammer.
Him
that
with
was
the
on my
ham-
list.
Him with the hammer.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
No regrets.
Regrets,
Everybody was like, you could barely lift it. Who cares?
Yeah, no one
He's
cares.
worthy.
Yeah, he's absolutely worthy.
Man-
I think that the hammer made him worthy during that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe even the fact that he was ready to stand off against Thanos' armies alone.
For everyone who's joining us now, this is spoiler territory for Endgame. So if you haven't seen it, probably don't watch this right now, or come back to us in a few minutes because we're going to switch topics here in a minute.
Yeah. But no, it was just cool. They even had a good joke in there. Just everything worked about it.
I liked it.
No regrets.
It was
not
awesome.
even a little.
My first reaction was, he can't do that. Like, I was actually mad for a second. I was like, I let it go. I was like, that's stupid. Just let it go.
Do you not remember my fight on Imgur, where somebody called me naive for saying that the magic glove could do something?
I don't remember that.
That's what. Oh, like
remember
I
that.
got into a fight with somebody because I've always contested that there are smarter ways to ensure that to save the universe from an ecological standpoint.
Sure.
You don't have to just kill half the people.
Mhm.
And I brought up, hey, how about double the size of the universe? Half the size of the people and change the galactic constant for gravity so everything still feels the same, and change the way air molecules work so everybody can still breathe.
There you go.
Or change the way all molecules work so they still interact. And there, because this was right after Infinity War, and there was a really big hashtag. There was like a hashtag Thanos did nothing wrong.
Right.
And everybody wanted to say, yeah, you should just kill half the people. And it's like, well, okay, killing half the people is a solution,
Right.
but it's not the only solution, and it's not the kindest solution.
Right.
And so
Especially when you have infinite abilities
Yeah.
right here.
So when I said that you could just double the size of the universe.
I'm sorry, it's the right hand.
Yeah. when they said when I said you could just double the size of the universe, like people were downvoting me left and right.
Really?
Yeah, and somebody's response was just naive. It's a magic glove that can do anything, and it's the hammer of Thor.
Right.
It can do whatever it wants. Actually, they established that when they talked about the elevator.
Mhm.
If you leave Mjolnir on the elevator lifts the hammer. Elevator's not.
Oh,
working.
that reminded me of another thing. That reminded me of another thing that I really liked about this movie. I loved all the callbacks.
Hit that invite button.
I invited a bunch of people
Oh,
already.
you did? Okay.
Yeah, it's already. I see it's over here.
Okay.
But yeah, I know. I really did like all the callbacks. I like how they kind of go back to the other movies. I think that's really cool. I love how the elevator scene, because you said elevator, and that's what triggered the memory.
Oh,
with Captain America.
Yeah.
I loved that scene. I was like, he's gonna kill everybody in that elevator. This is gonna be a lot of fun. But that's not what happened. But it was reminiscent of that scene.
It was also reminiscent of a storyline called Secret Empire, which was big news about 3 to 5 years ago when Captain America went Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
You're ready to lose all our subscribers right now?
By mentioning it?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
It was a good idea. It was fine.
No, you're right.
The execution wasn't that good.
It was a callback to that. I remember that because
Yeah.
he said "Hail Hydra." That was the reason. That's how he got out of it, which was brilliant.
Yeah, the execution of the Secret Empire stuff was not great. But its concept was we are going to do the biggest Captain America smear campaign possible by changing his entire past so that he still did everything that he did as Captain America for the last 70 years, but he was Hydra the whole time.
Right.
You know what? It's not deconstructing a character. That's not what it is. It's Cap being in trouble.
Right.
And so the Avengers need to step up and save him, which is what happens to Captain America sometimes.
Sure.
Superheroes get in trouble.
I remember when that happened
Yeah,
because people memed the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Like they would make Captain America something else, and then he'd say the exact opposite that character would say. My favorite, Captain Canuck, and it says, "I'm not sorry."
But do you remember the umbrage?
What do you mean?
Do you remember all
People not liking it? Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, because people were like, "Oh, you're deconstructing."
People were like, "That's not Captain America."
You're right. It's not Captain America. That's why you have to
That's
just.
the point.
And the thing is, Marvel is like, "Oh, sorry. Okay, some spoilers coming up." Like they literally released
they had
spoilers.
to like spoil it.
Yeah, it's just wait.
Well, they're just so worried. They're just so worried about losing readers
Yeah.
because they're so desperate for them.
They really are. The Avengers are on it. That's
Yeah.
what they do.
Right.
All right. And by the way, I liked Captain America in his Hydra armor. Either way.
Yeah.
I thought it looked cool.
No,
It's definitely
it
a
did
cool
look
idea
cool.
for a villain.
Anything else we want to say about Endgame before we switch topics?
Yeah, we have to address this Pepper Potts issue.
Oh God. All right.
It is the thing that you hated the least about my initial analysis.
Didn't bother me in the slightest.
Yeah.
The only thing with my eyebrows raised because I wasn't sure who it was at first. That's what happened.
That's what's so odd about it.
Yeah.
So Pepper Potts comes out as I don't even know if she's a character in the comic books, the Iron Maiden.
I thought so. I thought she was. I don't read Iron Man comics, so I don't know.
And the thing is that like Pepper Potts throughout all this, she hasn't proven herself to be a coward, but she's proven herself to be a non-combatant. She doesn't like to get shot at. She
Sure.
doesn't like it when Whiplash cuts her car in half. It makes her very, very nervous.
But she seems capable.
And the thing is, she is.
Yeah.
Same movie.
Right.
Okay. Tony is being followed by hammer drones, and they are blasting the crap out of Frisco. Are they in Vegas? They're somewhere. They're probably in Frisco. No, they're probably Malibu. Either way, they're blowing the crap out of the city. And does Pepper panic? No, because she's not being shot at. Is she passive? No. She immediately finds Hammer, pushes him away from the computers, and starts getting to work coordinating with local law enforcement. There is absolutely no reason why the Iron Legion shouldn't have shown up, and then Tony be like, "What are my suits doing here?" And then we cut to Pepper like inside a command center, and she's like, "Hey, Tony." Like that's the perfect contribution, rather than just like, "Oh, you're a seasoned Iron Man user now," but for no reason.
Hold on. Canon, the suits are very intuitive because that's what Spider-Man said when he got his new suit from Tony.
Okay. Problem. Why doesn't everyone have one and every hero be Iron Man then?
Because Tony is selfish.
Even in the face of Thanos.
No, I mean, okay, there's no real way you can explain that. Yeah. But that's just the way it is.
The thing about the Iron Man suit is that like it works best with him. It's designed for him.
Sure.
And he designed one specifically for Spider-Man. He doesn't have the time or resources to create one for everyone.
Sure.
That's the deal.
Right.
All right.
Which is fine. Everyone else is pretty capable on their own.
Yes.
For the most part.
Including Pepper. Okay. She's an administrator.
Yeah.
She's a strategist.
She would have jumped through that portal and she'd been holding a gun.
No. She wouldn't have been there. She would have done what she does best: strategize, think out her problems, and make the biggest impact. Because the biggest impact isn't one suit; it's all of them.
Sure, but didn't he destroy them all?
He uses nanite magic now. Nothing matters. It's like okay, one additional line. Hey Tony, I dusted off some of your old blueprints. Turns out you can manufacture real quick with your nanite.
Which would have been fine. I would have been fine with that too. But she was there and she was in a suit. So what?
Why didn't Aunt May get a spider suit and she could jump around too? If we're just gonna weirdly give supporting characters the main character's powers and experiences for no reason.
There was no time for a lot of stuff. She already had a suit.
You know what? You didn't need time because they set up stuff like the Iron Legion and Pepper Potts being very, very capable in this way and having more forethought than Tony ever did. And this would show that.
I would have been fine. I would have been fine with that, and I was fine with what they did.
Yeah,
I was fine with both.
By the way, teeny tiny little nitpick. If it affected my score, it is like 0.25%.
But you had to bring it up
because it bothers you so much.
I'm bothered that it bothered you.
But 0.25%. You're bothered that it bothered me that much?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think that sums up most of what I had to say about it. Okay. I think that it put a nice button on the whole last 10 years,
Very
11 years, whatever it is. Yeah, it was great. A lot of good sign-offs, a lot of good moments. I just really think it should have been 3 movies, the whole Infinity War saga. Phase 3 is not over yet because...
Are we in Phase 2?
No, we're in Phase 3. Phase 3 officially is over when Homecoming comes out.
When did it start?
Homecoming? No, Far From Home.
Yeah. When did Phase 3 start?
I don't know.
Like, what's that cutoff? I guess that would be Avengers? No. Okay, Phase 1 is Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger. I don't know. You know what? I don't care. Okay.
It's right here. Captain America Civil War is in Phase 3.
So when the movie started getting kind of bad.
Doctor Strange, Spider-Man Homecoming,
yep,
Thor
yep.
Ragnarok, Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame.
You're listing all the ones that are kind of bad.
Not all of them. Ragnarok was good.
Okay, Ragnarok is funny.
Homecoming was fine.
I didn't like Homecoming.
I liked it fine. I remember we disagreed about that one. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Doctor Strange was a little boring.
Yeah, and it was a little boring the next 4 times they made that movie too.
Oh yeah, you didn't like Civil War. I thought Civil War was okay.
Civil War, I think I might actively dislike.
Yeah.
where like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Captain Marvel. These are just kind of doofy, real kind of basic movies, but there's something to look at. Like Civil War is just like a chore to watch. What? You're trying to figure it out. I don't care.
No, I was just gonna look at Phase 4, what they had. I know that the Black Widow stuff. Far From Home is not Phase 4.
It's Phase 3.
It's Phase 3.
Okay.
I already know that.
Yeah, it actually far.
The Eternals. They're making the Eternals. Doctor Strange 2. Black Panther 2.
Yeah, they have to.
Shang-Chi. They announced that one recently.
I have no idea what Shang-Chi is.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I mean,
it's supposed to be the first like Asian superhero for Marvel in the MCU.
That can't be true.
In the MCU?
Oh, in the MCU, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And they're making by the way, they're making a show called WandaVision. And it's gonna have Wanda, Scarlet Witch, and
you
Vision.
have all of my what? It's called Wanda. Why is it called WandaVision?
I'm not messing with you. That's what they're calling it. It's gonna have Vision, and it's gonna have her in it.
Okay, how come the first Iron Man movie wasn't called Tony Pepper Happy?
I don't know.
I'll tell you why. That's a dumb idea.
It is a dumb idea. But yeah, these are the shows apparently that are gonna come to the Disney streaming service. So Hawkeye, Loki.
Oh, these are shows.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an okay idea for a show.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Stretching.
Okay. Are we officially switching topics now?
If anybody, I'm gonna say this because we dunk on movies all the time because it's way more fun.
It is a lot more fun.
This movie is okay. Visually, go ahead and change. Go ahead and change the background.
I'm about to.
Yeah.
I need to.
That way people can come in for our summation.
No way.
Come and knock on my door.
There it goes.
Man, my nose is red today. I should have worn some makeup.
Yeah, you're okay.
Even though Janny over here refuses to use any kind of screencraft whatsoever.
I don't remember you asking me to do that.
I did.
Well, that must have been a while ago.
It was.
Okay.
You said no. I remember.
I said I never.
Never ever.
Okay, just so we can.
What are you gonna do? Put a comic palooza behind us?
Okay.
That's
just temporary. That's
yeah,
temporary.
that's okay.
Just so we know that we've changed.
Okay, so
I'll find something better.
So if you've been flipping through and you get to the point where we've finally stopped talking about Endgame, I would like to say that if you're probably avoiding spoilers because you haven't seen the movie, and despite all the stuff that we've said about it so far, which has been a lot, it is worth seeing in the theaters. Okay, I think that this is a good movie for anyone to see. Okay, it's definitely a good family movie, plenty of action, romance, comedy, and it's a beautiful send-off to characters who have become very important to us over the last 10 years. And I would like to give my personal thanks to all involved. Mwah! Beautiful. All right, Johnny Dunn.
That's me.
Comic Palooza. First off, how long are we going? It's been over an hour.
Yeah, no, that's not quite accurate because I started it early just with the wait screen. So we're close to an hour.
Okay. We don't have time.
Let's do it. Let's do it anyway.
Let's do it anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
In fact, we could stop the stream and start a new one.
Am I looking at Game of Thrones there?
That was, yeah, that's the...
Okay. We can stop the stream and do another one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll do a 2-episode Gangrene.
We'll take like a 10-minute break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed this because for all intents and purposes, it's a completely different show.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for hanging out for our little podcast, such as it is. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed our content. Don't forget that our beautiful faces are going to be at Comic Palooza May 10th, 11th, and 12th. We're doing a panel. We're doing a show. Prizes, games, interactivity, community outreach, recycling, reuse, renew, recycle.
We have a booth.
Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to 0. Gonna cast all those asunder. Villains who love to loot and plunder. We're the Planeteers, and you can be one too. Cause living our planet is a thing to do. Looting and polluting is not the way. Hear what Captain Planet has to say. The planet is yours. That's not right. The power.
The power is yours. Start over.